This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
Welcome back to the Wedding Buzz. It's your host, Sydney, and today I'm so excited to introduce my guest, Jill. She is the owner of Jill's Next Door, a pet care company, and I'll let her dive into the details. But Jill, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It is such a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited that we were able to make this happen.
Yes.
We met at a wedding expo a few weeks ago, and guys, she takes care of our babies, of our fur babies. It's the most important part of not just the wedding day, but life is our fur babies.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
So I wanted to get to know you better and talk to you. I know we've talked a little bit, but I think your services are really cool. Again, both for everyday life, but especially weddings. It's new, it's different, it's cool.
Right.
So let's dive in. Tell me about yourself. Tell me, what is Jill's Next Door?
Oh my goodness. Well, my name is Jill Merjeski. I launched Jill's Next Door Dog Walking and Pet Services in 2017. Okay. And we started off just with me. Mm-hmm. So I was solo and trying to build the business, but also providing pet care. So I would be on the field doing pet sitting, dog walking, pet taxi, and just a few other things. And so I did that while I was building the back end of the business. Mm-hmm. And then over time, we added more and more services to accommodate our clients and the community. From there, then we onboarded additional help as we grew. So now we have about 11 ICs, 10 or 11 ICs.
What's an IC?
Independent contractors.
Okay.
So they're doing the pet care, and
Gotcha.
I'm doing back end and, of course, managing and getting out and promoting services and adding services and looking at our market and what it takes to grow. And
that's like everyone's
community.
Every
Yes.
business owner's goal is to work on the business, not in the business.
That's exactly right. And that's what I tell myself. And when you're doing both, it's just so overwhelming and something's going to fall through the cracks. And in my case, when I was building all of this and working on the field, it was myself. I was losing myself. I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating right. I was up all night doing this and then working all day. And down in Florida where it's 100 degrees, I'm barely hanging on. So everything just sort of evolved that I can't even believe looking back that I was able to do all of that without the help. Because once I got the ICs on board, it was like, okay, now what? Now what else can we do? What else can we offer? Where is the gap in the market? Mm-hmm. And the gap was, with pet care, was weddings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool because it is becoming like this newer and trendy thing to have dogs as part of the wedding day, and the people are having dogs walk down the aisle, but it's a big question of like, how do I get my dog there?
How do you do it?
How do I make sure that they go potty right before the ceremony? What do I do with them after? And so that's where you come in. Tell me about that.
That's where we come in and we figure out those logistics and we really customize it to each client because each client is different. Each dog or cat is different. And each wedding venue and what the bride envisions or the groom, whatever they decide. But I think it's just natural to want to have your pets in the wedding. Mm-hmm. And I can't even imagine not having my pets, and I have cats and we can do that too.
Have you had cats at the wedding?
No, but I have a whole plan. So if I ever get married, I would have my own cats, and I have a small kitty rescue on the side. So I'd bring all my fosters. Aww. I would have, and you could start thinking of these exciting ideas. There's some, and this hasn't happened in my company yet, but there's some brides or grooms that want rescue pups. So the groomsmen walk down with puppies from a local rescue,
cute.
Or kittens from the local rescue. So instead of flowers, they might hold kittens walking down the aisle. And it's such a beautiful experience because you're bringing attention then to the rescue, and it's such an amazing, it elevates the experience to so much fun and there's so much love in the air with weddings that it just becomes such a wonderful platform for not only just having the bride enjoy her special day, but give back to a cause and then shine a light on some of these animals that need rescuing. So it really ties in my goals with the business, which is not only providing great pet care, but making sure that whatever the client decides to do, whether it's, just feeling feeling a peace of mind going to work or on vacation or at their wedding. So with the wedding, we come back to the basics. What is the bride or groom looking for? We figure out logistics. So how does that work? We meet with the couple. And we just ask them about the venue, ask them about their day, ask them about what their goals are, and really just talk about, not only the client's needs, but what kind of pet do you have? What is their temperament? What is their breed? What is their age? Because they all play a factor in how we are going to work with that pet. Yeah. And so we do a little inventory of that. How is your dog, if it's a dog, how is your dog in crowds? How are they around people? Are they fearful? Are they anxious? Are they easily excitable? Like, how is that going to work? So then we basically come up with a plan on how to manage that particular pet. I mean, we definitely have a baseline of what we do. So, for example, once we figure that all out, we meet the pet, and then we will get to the client's location, and then either stay with the pet while they're getting ready, pose them for pictures, or take them to the venue early, which we like to do. So we walk the dog around the venue so that they get all those smells in. They get acclimated to the area. They go potty. We might give them their dinner, or we pack a bag for them, and that's everything that we figure out with the couple before the actual event. So we bring their treats and learn what gets them motivated or gets them calmed down. And we get them acclimated. We get them, they go potty. And then usually the bride comes and or the groom, and the wedding party's there. So we get everyone acclimated. And then what do they want us to do for the ceremony? Do they want us to... are they going to pose for pictures before the ceremony? Okay. Do they want their pet in those pictures? So the good thing is when we're there and we're handling the pet, the couple can focus on their own pictures, but we're standing behind the photographer with their favorite dog toy that they bring, and we're distracting them, so that the dog is looking into the camera, right? So that's, the photographer's too busy to, get the dog over here and do all of that. I've said this before, but it's interesting because we might go for a little tiny jog before the picture, so the dog is nice and smiley and panting a little bit, not overwhelmingly, but just the happy face in the pictures, So we think about those types of things. We pose them for pictures. If they want us to walk the dog down the aisle, we can do that. Some brides want to have their dog already there with the groom. In which case, if the dog's already there, then we can go and sort of slide up and take the dog once they're doing their vows and everything. Or hand it off to a groomsman or a bridesmaid. Or we stand up there with them. We're very sort of discreet in what we do. So we'll just try to stay out of the pictures and all of that. So it's really just about how they want to do it. How do they just want the dog there, like in the crowd, and just taking pictures? Then we work on that. So it's really up to the client, but we figure out everything before we go as much as we can.
Yeah. Wow. You just said a bunch of
it's a lot.
No, but it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's, it's so sweet, that people do want their dogs, because everyone loves their fur babies, that they want them in the wedding. But it's so true. I mean, just like every child is different, every dog is different. And even if it's a good dog and they're well behaved, they might, they're out of their home, they're excited, there's a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's really, it's so funny because my husband was a groomsman in a wedding. So obviously I was just there as a guest.
Right.
And they had the dog go down the aisle, and then somehow it landed as my husband's job to hold the dog the rest of the ceremony. Yeah. And their dog is sweet, but hyper. And the whole ceremony, I'm looking at my husband, and he's trying to get this dog to sit. Yeah. And it was kind of funny because I could barely focus on the ceremony because I was just watching my husband be like,
struggle.
Sit.
Yes.
Sit. Like, struggle.
It's a lot of work. Plus
is.
the pet hair. And, animals are unpredictable, so you don't know what they're going to do. And I've heard a story similar to that where they're like, oh, I just had my friend or my mom who, and it's like, well, they want to enjoy your day too. They're part of this day.
And like, guys don't care, I don't think, not to be stereotypical, but I'm going to be. Guys don't care, I think, as much as women. Right. But still, like, he was in a suit and he didn't care really. And it was one of his best friends. And this dog was good. He was just hyper. Right. But like, you got to remember, if you're the bride, you're in your wedding dress. Mm-hmm. You don't, as much as you love your fur baby, like, you don't want them jumping on you.
Yes.
Like, you don't want their hair all over your wedding dress. Most days it's like, I don't care if there's fur on me. I love them. But it's your wedding day. Like,
it's your wedding day.
You can't be wrangling your dog. You don't want the groom or the groomsmen all covered in hair. I mean, you get black suits and a golden retriever. Like, it's not going to look cute.
It's not, no.
And so I think it's perfect. I think as a wedding planner, it's funny because I just had this conversation like with my team the other day of like, the day works best when everyone has their thing to focus on. Like their job, their thing to focus on. And that's something I've, that's not rocket science, but that's something not new, but I've been really trying to focus on with my team in preparing for weddings of like, for this Saturday, I have one of my assistants, their job is to babysit the wedding party. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's their focus, is babysit the wedding party. And my other assistant is like set up and decor. And then I can kind of bounce around and make sure that the vendors are doing what they're doing. So anyway, I say that because it's so helpful that you have, like, you and your team, that your focus is the dog. Mm-hmm. And a dog needs their own attention. Like, especially at a wedding day when there's it's really not funny if they're like barking up a storm or running away or this or that. Like, you need one person that is their job that day. That is all they're focused on. It's not the bridesmaids who need to be in pictures and need to have hair and makeup and need to be in their dress. It's not the groomsmen that also need to be doing this, that, and the other and possibly drinking 10 beers that day. Like, it's one person focused on it, that it's their job. And I love that you have, like, a debrief before. What is your dog's temperament? What are they like? Because all I'm hearing is, like, having a dog at a wedding without you streams like stress and chaos to me. Right. And having it with you, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute. Like, that's great. We have a plan. We have a person in charge. It's going to go smoothly. And I also never thought about the whole rescue idea. I've never heard of people like coming in holding puppies or kittens, but like, I'm here for it. The ceremony, that could get a little crazy, but maybe like if you want that, that's fantastic. But the reception entrance, like the grand entrance, when people do funny things, like my own wedding, I had all the guys wear cowboy hats because my husband's from Okeechobee. He's a country boy. So I was like, okay, like, ceremony, I wanted it like really classy and all that. But then I was like, the reception, like, they came into Hank William Jr. wearing like cowboy hats, and it was so fun. So like, I could see someone who's really passionate about like animals and rescues and stuff doing that, of having like the groomsmen hold puppies. Oh my gosh, the crowd would go wild.
It's crazy. As soon as you enter a dog and insert a dog into anything, it's like, oh my God, where have you been? This needs to happen, Yeah. But it is a lot. And I'm glad that you said that. It is important for, especially as a wedding planner, to delegate these types of things, because it's chaotic, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody is excited but nervous, and there's so many things going on, and people don't realize how much work it is to hold back a dog that's overly excited. This is he or she feels that excitement in the air, and they get overwhelmed with all the sights and smells and new property and just getting used to everything. So it is a lot of work. And what we do is we require a handler for each dog. So if they have more than one dog, then there's 2 of us coming or 3 of us coming. And that's there's also a safety element as well. We want to make sure that every dog has someone at the end of the leash at all times. It's a lot to wrangle them back. And it's just the safe way to go. And this is what we choose to do. But you're right. I mean, when you have live animals there, it's really good to have a handler. You could have the nicest dog, but they might get a little anxious and just be reactive. So to have professionals, in it on top of that and, lasering in on the dog, then that's what you need.
Yeah, it's very important. And it's also funny that you talk about like when you started your business, like doing the runaround. I did dog walking when I was starting my business. That's like how I was like, okay, I'll have some income, is I did dog walking in my neighborhood. And it's a lot of work. And I'm not talking about just like walking in the Florida heat, because that on its own is like exhausting. But I mean, dogs get weird when their owners aren't around. They pull, they do this, they do that. Like, and I love dogs. Clearly, if I like tried to, or if I did that, but I give you a lot of props, because it is a lot of work. And honestly, eventually I was like, I can't focus on my weddings and do the dog, because I was like in and out of the house all day. Like,
yeah, it's a lot, and people don't even think about it. They're like, oh, who's just going to watch my pets when I'm getting married? And I'm like, why wouldn't you think to have them in it, even if it's for 20 minutes, even if it's for the photos and taking him there? It's just a great idea that way your family is complete and your whole family is at your event. Your friends are at your event, so why not have your pets too? But make sure that you still have that peace of mind that you have professional handlers there, so that you can enjoy your day. It's not an added stressor for you or your planner or the other vendors. And we do work with the other vendors, say, if you were the wedding planner, I would be on the phone with you and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. What is your plan, and how can we incorporate the pets into this? Because we don't want to step on any toes either. We want to enhance the event, not cause problems where you're sitting back like, oh my God, I thought I had everything figured out. Now we got animals to consider. I can only imagine. So it's like, okay, like let's,
But again, like from the wedding planner's perspective, if it's just the bride and groom being like, we're bringing our dog, I'd be like, oh no.
Oh, right.
But if it's, hey, we hired this company to bring our dogs, I'd be like, fantastic.
Right.
Cool. Great.
Right.
Like, let's do it. And I always say with vendors, like, me as the planner, I'm not the boss that day. Like, the bride and the groom are the boss. Like, all the vendors, we are now teammates. We are coworkers. And, we just have to work together to figure out what's going to be the best thing for the day. But yeah, no, having someone in charge of it, eliminates chaos.
And, I do want to say, you want to have that person that's handling, because what if the dog isn't, reacting well to the day? Maybe he's just causing chaos. As much as we're handling him and all the protocols that we do to eliminate sort of that behavior. But what if something were to happen and you didn't have a handler, and then your friend misses the ceremony because they have to take the dog
home.
Yeah.
So walk me through the wedding day. So you go to their house, or if they're at a hotel or Airbnb, and like you get the dog, and then bring them to the wedding, and then you take them back home, or like, what does that normally look like?
We meet them, we pick up the dog, and we transport them, which is a big relief for our brides and grooms, that, they don't have to worry about getting the dog in the limo or whatever as well. So we transport them to the venue. Some people might want their dog just for the ceremony. Some people want them just for the venue, the reception. Some people want both. So we offer different packages to accommodate that. So it's really based on what the client wants. If it's the ceremony, it's usually, the altar care, which is, having the dog up front or walking him down the aisle. It's, if they want the pictures, that's where that's included as well, plus pictures at the reception if we're leading into the reception. And just like you said, if they want to walk in with the pets, then they can do that too, and then leave. Or if they want them there the whole time, if the venue supports that, then we'll be there the whole time. We're not leaving without that dog.
Yeah, that's your main focus all day.
Or the animal, right? We're not leaving. We're not just going to drop it off and be like, okay, even if they're like, no, you're fine. Like, no, let's really think about this. You've had some champagne, like logistically stick to the plan. Whatever they want to do, but we really try to make sure that we have hands on the dogs at all times. Yeah.
How about, talk to me about transporting. So my parents, it's like my family dog. I got him when I was like a teenager, but now I've moved out. So he still lives with my parents. So I'm like, my parents' dog, my dog. Anyway, he's like 14, old, and struggles to walk, but like he's still kicking.
Yeah.
We got some time with him. He's still kicking. But to get him in and out of the car is like a journey. And so we got a ramp. Have you seen those, or have you used one of those? Oh my gosh, it's like amazing.
It is.
For any, I mean, even if your dog's not super old, if they just kind of struggle to jump up, or if they're heavy and you don't want to pick them up, like we have this ramp and it's fabulous. And he just like trots up the ramp and we're good to go. But how do you transport the dogs? You just put them in your car and they're good to go? Or is that always a journey?
That's something that we figure out upon intake. So yes, that's a real concern. Are they a bigger dog? Are they heavy? Are they able to jump? And what do we need to make sure, like I'm very sort of preventative thinking, like if this is going to be a problem, anything can go wrong. So what can we do to get them into the car? And I will say, when I started this, we started this a few years ago, but we actually launched the wedding services a few months ago. But we started because we found that this is something that the clients asked us about. And then when I heard they were getting married, I was so excited for my long-term clients that have been using us. And I said, have you thought about having, this dog at your dog in their wedding? And they're like, no, we didn't even think about it. And they were like, game on, let's do this.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't think that way. But I will say, this one dog, it was a learning experience because he was a Saint Bernard. His name was Smalls, but he was not obviously small.
He was not small.
And I was by myself. It was one dog, and I did not think about, like, I thought he'd be able to jump. I just didn't think about those types of things. So it's interesting that you brought this up. And I struggled. And we were at this hotel, and I said to the valet guys, listen, I'll give you $10 if you help me load this dog in the car. And there were 3 of us, like, trying to he didn't want to go into the car because he didn't understand
You were
why
like, Smalls,
Smalls,
I'm being
let's
paid
go.
to get your butt
Hey,
to this wedding.
I'm like, whatever it takes to get you into this car is what's going to happen. I always say,
Was he nice?
Oh, he was so sweet, and
Okay.
he was older, and he was drooling, and it was hot, and I'm like, oh my God, because I have to look presentable at work too, but no matter what, it was like we were going to get this dog into the car. It didn't matter. So sometimes you got to get creative, but the best thing is to think about these things,
Yeah.
So we did it, it ended up great. With the transport, we make sure that they're safe. We put them in the back seat. We have the pet seat belts. We make sure that they're harnessed in.
Oh, you do have
Yeah.
pet seatbelts. You like the? I mean, I don't know. I don't have a dog. Like my family dog, like I was talking about, is kind of my dog, but he's not doesn't live with me. But I don't have. I've seen those pet seatbelts, but I haven't used them. But you like
they're
them?
Great. Yeah. Yep.
Do the dogs like them?
They're fine because they're just sitting in the back seat. That's the safest place for them. And they're harnessed in. So you just attach the seatbelt to the actual
seatbelt, yeah.
Seatbelt.
The buckle.
And then, we triple check to make sure that they are locked in. And then we drive like, 5 miles an hour because
Oh my
it's
gosh.
like, having a baby in
No,
your
I was
car.
about to say my sister just had the first baby of the family. He's like 12 weeks old now. 12 weeks, I think. And I had to drive the car with him in the back seat a couple weeks ago, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
10 and 2. Like,
Yes. Oh, it's so crazy.
As if like I want to crash when the baby's not in the car.
I know. It's so funny the way you think, because it's like, why am I so protective? Is my life not valuable? But something clicks in your head, and I'm sure moms and dads know this, that, you do. You turn into like a stellar driver because, especially in Florida, people are crazy drivers down here. So you have to be on full alert. No music, no nothing, no jamming out. This is pressure. You have to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. And
Especially on someone's wedding day. You're like,
absolutely.
their dog needs to make it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times they're like, they're considered the child of the day. So they're part of the immediate, bridegroom, groom, bride. They're part of that, the main focus there, So
it's their baby. It's especially, again, not to be stereotypical, but a lot of couples don't have human babies yet when they're getting married. They have their fur babies. And so it's their baby. It's important.
Yeah. And especially, I think now, just looking at our world today and people are getting married later. They're having children later, or they're having less children. I mean, this is just statistically that I read. I don't have a source, but from what I hear, so it's like, there's a lot of people that for now, while they're, getting their established as a married couple and finding their house or figuring out where they're going to go, it's like they do have these pets, and they're considered part of the family even more and more ingrained in their day-to-day life, taking them to the supermarket and stuff. Like they're just...
I just went to a breakfast place and there's a guy with his dog in the restaurant. I was like, I knew that people would sometimes go bring their dog and sit outside, but no, the dog's in the restaurant. I was like, oh, okay.
Florida is very pet friendly, and I do love that, but I am mindful of not everybody does.
Yeah.
So it can be a little overwhelming. And, bringing it back to the wedding, it's like, does the venue support having a pet? So that's...
Have you run into issues with that, with venues not being okay with it?
No, because as soon as we ask...
You're like, wait.
I will say, we had to get a little creative with one. We definitely make sure if it's a venue, if it's a hotel, that we work with pet friendly. We're not going to skirt that. We have to get approval. We got to make sure the dog is legally there. However, we do have a lot of beach weddings, right? So there was this one wedding where there were... I don't know the exact rule, but I don't know if it was just service dogs on the beach, but it was after hours. There was nobody there. There was a gatehouse in the park, and they're like, "Are you here for the wedding?" And I'm like, literally hiding the dog, because I was like, I didn't know if they were going to tell me to turn around, and if they did, I would have parked my car 3 blocks away and walked this dog up and just tell the bride. This was a very fast wedding, so there wasn't the whole logistics. She was like, can you grab my dog? She was a long-term client. Let's do this. And so it was just, okay, we're going to do it. So yeah, I was going to get that dog in that venue, and nobody batted an eye, and it went off without a hitch, but it is important to make sure that the dog or cat is allowed. I mean, that's a big thing. You don't want to tarnish the bride's reputation or, cause problems for them. And that would probably be your biggest nightmare as a planner. Like, oh my God, this girl's bringing in like exotic animals. Like, what is this,
I mean,
I don't want to cause any problems, but I also need to get my job done. So that one was like, okay, we're going to skirt this, go around, and like I said, if it was a hotel and they were like, absolutely not, I'd be like, let's get the photographer out here, get all the wedding party, the bride and groom in front of the venue. Let's figure out a way, maybe greet the guest on the outside with the pet and have them dressed up. We can work around it.
Yeah.
And then it would be a different price for that, because it's like, okay, we're not working the wedding. What is this then? So that's why I'm saying one of the reasons why we do have the different packages is because everything is so different.
Yeah.
So we'll work as much as we can.
Yeah, that
with
makes
whoever
sense.
we can.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, this is the Wedding Buzz, so I know we've talked a lot about like the wedding day, but I know you mentioned like that you do pet care, and you had the business didn't start with the wedding. So I want to give you an opportunity. Like, what is like the bulk of your business is like typical pet care services for when people are on like vacation or long days at work where you go walk dogs? Like what does that side of your business look like?
All of it. So we offer the vacation visits, and we offer professionals that are going to work all day, or even people that just want to get away. We have a lot of people that come down and say, I have a COVID dog. They got their dog during COVID. He is used to having someone around 24/7. So we want to go to dinner, so this dog needs to be taken care of for a few hours. So we work from the client's home. So we don't take in pets. We don't board or anything. So we have those types of visits. We obviously have the dog walking. We have the pet taxi for clients that need us to pick up their dog from a vet or take them to the vet or the groomer or doggy daycare.
Oh, that's amazing, because I know people, I mean, I remember like when I worked a 9-to-5 job, I didn't have a pet per se, but like I remember just feeling like I need to get things done, but I'm at work all day long, and like I'm sure that groomers and vets, they're open the same 9 to 5 that these people have to be at work.
They
and it's
are
frustrating to try to take off work every time. Like, you got to drop them off, you got to pick them up. Like, it's kind of, it's hard. And then I'm sure, there's like at home, but I'm sure that the at home mobile groomers aren't probably working nights, weekends. Like it's tough. So that's perfect if, you go to the house, you pick them up, bring them to do you take them to vet appointments or just groomers or?
We take them to the vet. Not often, but when a client's away and there's a problem, of course we take them to the vet because we're very communicative with our clients. So we've just had this. A dog is sick, and I said, these are the symptoms, very matter of fact. These are, without emotion and not with my own spin, like, oh, I think he has this. I'm not a medical professional. So here are the dog's symptoms. I think we should take him to the vet, get checked out, and we did that, with that being said, with these pet sitting visits, with, the dog walking, we do offer add-on concierge services. So, what does that look like? If someone needs medication picked up for the pet, we tack that on. If they need any sort of errands running, if they wanted their place vacuumed while they're gone, it's all add-on services. There is, oftentimes clients are like, oh, while you're at my house, would you, I'm away, will you water my lawn? And it's like, well, we're here for the dog. I don't want to take that time away. How can I make this work for all of us? And so, okay, if you want that, if our schedule allows, we'll tack that on. And it'll be a concierge service. That way we can draw the line like,
when I was dog sitting, that 100% happened to me. You
learn.
Can you refill the robot mop with water?
Yeah.
And can you do this? And can you do that? And
yes.
I was like, whoa, my 20-minute pop-in all of a sudden is over an hour.
Exactly. And I learned the hard way too, where it's, I don't think the clients really mean
they don't mean bad.
They're like, hey, while you're there, or can you do this? But it's a lot of work to water someone's lawn in July, in the height of in Florida. So it's like, okay, but you're taking time away. How do I not do that? But I have another client after this. Okay, schedule that concierge so I can work that in, not take time away from the pet. And any pet care professional will tell you that this is what clients do. So it's like, I learned later, hey, I need to have boundaries here. I'm exhausted, you know? So adding those concierge services still helps the client, but then also it's paid time for us because we are doing that extra work. And I always say to my new sitters that I onboard, look, we do offer these services because it does get a little gray. These clients don't ask the pool guy that's cleaning their pool to walk the dog, but they will ask us to test the pool or skim the pool. So it's like, we need to have some boundaries here. So that was a long-winded, but we do offer dog walking, pet sitting, pet taxi, concierge. We offer canine aqua fitness for clients that have pools and they want their dog to do laps. We get them, we make sure that they're safe. We have them in a safety vest. We do some laps. We take breaks. We give them water, drop them off.
That's so nice.
It's really good for older dogs.
Do you get in the pool with them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we do that. That's a 60-minute visit. We do.
My dog would hate that.
Yeah. There's a lot of dogs that really, really like it. So.
But no, I mean, I have my close family friends, I call them cousins, but they're not. But they have 2 golden retrievers, and you can't get them out of the pool.
Yeah.
Can't get them out of the pool. But as they're getting older, it's actually that's a perfect extra, because I know she used to take them for runs, and I'm sure that taking the older one for runs is probably getting a little bit more difficult on his hips and all of that.
Right.
But he loves the pool. So doing a more intentional, we're going to go in the pool, we're going to do some laps. That would be a great exercise for him as he's getting older, and he loves the pool. It's just a guided.
It's
that
safe.
Would be perfect.
Yeah. It's definitely safe. And we do, on intake, we find out the same thing, age is this, we make sure everyone's safe and that they're taking breaks, but it's fantastic. They're exhausted after that.
Yeah.
And then what else do we offer? God, there's so much. We just continue to add. We're what else do our clients need and want? We have partnered with a professional pet photographer who offers pet portraits. So
is it Emily?
No.
Okay.
No, it's
Emily does pet painting. And maybe I have to hook you up with Emily.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Because she does pet paintings?
She does paintings, yeah.
Okay.
Ren Art Live. She's awesome. She does weddings. She does like portraits, paintings at weddings, but she also will go like, there's, I don't know, like a local bar that they have like a pet night, and she'll go and do portraits of people's pets. But it's so good. She painted like a picture of my rabbit in literally like 5 minutes, and it was so good. But I have to hook you up because she's so sweet.
That's amazing. We're always looking to, partner with people that are good at what they do. It adds value. It adds value to the clients. It gives them what they want. And people love their pets. So, of course, I want a painting of my pet.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I think in this way, there's with our company, of course, we see the clients getting their pets, having their pets for a year, but also the loss of the pet, right? Mm-hmm. The grief that comes behind that. So right now we're working behind the scenes, like what resources can we offer our clients for when the end of life comes, the aftercare, and what is that like? Because the grief and the loss is so heavy. Yeah. And I bring that up because it is an important full circle type service, because we grieve with the client. It's awful. We send the client gifts. We reach out, hey, call me. We call them. How you doing? But to offer more resources, but to tie into what Emily does, to add the pet portraits would be a great thing for us to give the client, like, hey, this is a beautiful, handmade portrait of your beloved, So that's something that we can add to those resources too, for her to put her stuff up on our website. We've also partnered with online dog training and online cat training. And those are great because you just take videos, the client takes these videos at their own pace and then works with the cat or the dog on their own time, and then just keeps repeating these videos that are like 1 or 2 minutes long. And they're fantastic. They have individual videos on our website or bundles. And so there isn't someone coming in. And there's either way works for training, right? It's whatever system that the client wants to use. Mm-hmm. During COVID, this was a great option that people can use, their online pet training and then reinforce it with these videos just ready to go without the distraction of someone else there. So we offer the pet portraits, the online training, pet taxi, dog walking, pet sitting, canine aqua fitness. I do have a consultation business for people that want to begin their own pet care business. It's just 1 hour. I give them the resources, the associations, the education that they would need to follow up on. It was an overwhelming task to start the business. So if I can just weed through all the mistakes that I made and say, here you go, this is don't waste your time on this, this, and this. Just very rudimentary.
I need to hook you up with a lady in my neighborhood that I was walking. Like, she has a dog walking business, and I was like walking for her basically. Yeah. But I should link you guys up.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
It's something like similar, but I think yours is bigger. Like I think she only does it like in our one neighborhood kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's so fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you have such a good business going, and like,
Thank you.
On the wedding day, that part is awesome. And regardless of the wedding day, just in general, everyone loves their dogs. And I mean, even recently, my dog, whatever you want to call him, my parents were out of town. I was out of town. This was Labor Day weekend. And the pet sitter called, and like, he had, fallen and kind of hurting his leg. And in the process of her trying to help him, she fell and hurt her leg. And it was just like this whole thing. And it's like, it's just a dog, but also it's like, it's our dog. And it was, and it's not her fault at all. Like, but I was on the phone with my parents because they're in Utah. I was up in Daytona, and I rushed home. And it's like, you want to make sure that your pets are taken care of, especially when you're out of town. It's nerve wracking. And, like, my parents love our dog, but they're retired now. They travel a lot more.
Right.
And so my mom's always like, I don't want him, home alone all day, like by himself. Like,
right.
We want to make sure that there's someone that we love and trust that will love that dog and like take care of him. So it's such an important, it might sound like silly, like, oh, it's just like dog sitting, but it is more than that. Like,
It's
people
a lot more than that. And it really is a misconception. Sometimes it is just dog sitting. Sometimes we're sitting, if it's an overnight, sitting with them, petting them, watching TV. That's fantastic, but that's only a small part, because things like that do happen. The injuries, or like the what ifs, and like you have to know what you're doing. So if that were to happen with my company and the sitter got injured, I would be over there, because I always tell clients, you got a team behind you. If they're, we're a team. So if someone's injured, then we assess that, of course, we get them the help, but we would trade it out. Okay, can a sitter take over? Let's contact the client immediately. Let's get the dog help. Let's go to assess the situation, get them to the vet. And the team is just so important.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell the team. I'm like, this is all you guys. This is all you,
Yeah.
Everything that we do, they shine. And they brought us to a level that I could have never imagined or gotten there by myself. There's no way. They're just beautiful people, and they love what they do. And you can tell, and that's what I look for, the heart-centered, pet-loving people with great morals, that want to do this, so.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I ask everyone on the podcast, which you kind of told me earlier, but do you have any wedding day horror stories?
Oh
or
my
was
gosh.
Smalls your horror story?
It's never really a horror story, because it's always funny after the fact. It's like, how did I do that? Honestly, it's really hard to go wrong when you have such a cute pet, no matter what it is. I mean, they could walk down the aisle and like start tugging at someone's dress, and it would be so cute, and people are laughing because it's just such a funny moment.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing with Flower Girls and Ring Bearer. People are always like,
yes,
oh my God, she's only 2. I don't know. I'm like, guys, just
anything she does,
let her trot down the aisle. If she spins around, she sits down. Like, it's funny. It's fine. Like,
it's
unless
the
she
best
starts,
part.
even if she starts hysterically crying, just have Dad at the end ready to pick her up and like, oh, well, like, it's fine. Give her a lollipop.
Yeah.
She'll be fine. Like, out of all the things on the wedding day to stress about, let's not stress about like if the flower girl is going to walk properly. Like, it's fine. It's fine. And same with like the dog. Like, maybe stress about them like running around or biting someone or something. But like, as far as like, are they going to pant? Are they going to run down the aisle? Like, it's fine. It's a dog.
You know what? I did have one dog in front of the photographer just go poo. And I was like, we just went poo. Like, how are you doing this?
Bet you it's the funniest picture they have.
Like, and me, like, I just have a warped sense of humor. So I'm like crying, laughing, because I was like, oh my gosh, it wasn't during the ceremony or anything like that. And really no one was paying attention, but I'm seeing this and I'm right there with the poop bags and cleaning everything up. But of course you have guests coming up like, oh, like just laughing about it. So you kind of have to just go with the flow with these types of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of preparation, going for the walks before so this doesn't happen, but it still happens. You know what? You clean it up.
Look,
the bride's
he
hysterical.
wasn't ready before.
Yeah.
And he decided that was the time to shine.
You know what? And it's funny because they'll take pictures of that, and then you'll see in the background the bride laughing and the dog's going to the bathroom. He's getting excited because everyone's laughing, and he's like, what's that? And it's the best. Those are the best photos.
Yeah.
Those are the best moments that you can walk by. And it's not like, oh, wasn't that great when we were standing there smiling for the camera? But wasn't that hysterical when the photographer caught this moment of us all crying, laughing, pointing at the dog doing something silly? And those are the moments, those are the ones that you want to capture, in my opinion. We don't want mistakes to happen, but if they do, hey, you kind of have to be lighthearted about it.
I mean, that's perfect, because my next question, I always ask people, what are your horror stories? And then what's your one piece of advice that you'd like to give? And I feel like
you just gotta go. You have to. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. You can be prepared, which we are. I always tell people I'm type A. I got a plan for everything, and you're probably the same way, being in that business. But I think things through over and over and over again. I'm like that person. But sometimes you can't plan for everything. Just like with people, So having a good attitude about it, but getting the job done, make sure you're professional, make sure you're on time, make sure you're doing all the right things, and making the experience for the bride, as less stress as possible. And I always say to the sitters, we sell pet care, but we sell peace of mind. People want peace of mind. They want a seamless day. They want a perfect day. They don't want these other things to cause any problems. So that's where we step in. If they need help with additional things, as long as we got enough handlers, I can run around and do what I need to do. We get the job done. So yeah, I mean, we just want to make it a great day and enhance the day.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
and it sounds like you do an amazing job at that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go tell all my couples if they have pets.
Thanks.
That let's bring the pets. Let's bring the pets in.
And you're a pleasure to work with. So I would love
you.
to refer you to, because we can work well together.
Yeah.
And
that's key. I feel like that's it. I love what you said, because I'm the same way of like, I plan, I'm type A, I overthink through everything. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, it's like my biggest piece of advice is like, just roll with things. Mm-hmm. If you do your due diligence in advance and you have the plan like you do, like if you want your dog there and you hire someone to do it, and you hire someone like you who is professional, and you have a team and you have a system, and the chances of something going badly are so slim. And then it's like, if something does go off course, usually it's nothing like drastic. And then at the end of the day, like, if it does go slightly off pace, like, don't let it ruin,
right.
Especially when we're talking about weddings, like, don't let it ruin the day. Like,
right.
I have said that to some brides where I'm like, the tiniest bump in the road. And I'm like, I had one, the mother-in-law signed the marriage certificate in the wrong place, where it's like, there's nothing I could have planned for that, I mean, honestly, but now I know. Now when they're signing, I'm like, hey, wait, what color pen? Like,
yes.
Where are you? I usually just like, I'm like, okay, cool. Officiant's handling that, good to go.
Yeah.
But no, the mother-in-law signed in the wrong place, and they won't accept it like that. And they're really picky, and the bride was freaking out. And that's why I was like, look, we're like halfway through the wedding day. We've been having a great day.
Right.
Don't let this ruin the day.
Right.
It's the piece of paper.
Right.
They'll accept it. They'll give you a new piece of paper. I don't know. But
right.
like, let's move on. And we did, someone ran to the store and got white out, and we tried our best to like fix the paper, and thankfully it was accepted. But it is just like, you can plan. I planned every detail of that wedding day, but I didn't plan for the mother-in-law signing it in the wrong place. And I was like, at a certain point you can plan all you want. And I do suggest a plan. I've seen weddings planned. I've seen them unplanned. I'm like, please plan. Right. But life is life, and don't let it ruin the day.
You know what? And that's great, because it's like, you look for people that are the go-to people that get it done with a smile, that's professional, is lighthearted, and they fix it, whatever it looks like. And if you can't fix it, then, we're going to work in a way that we're not going to let it bother or take down the day. So I think it's really important when people are looking for wedding type services or vendors, are they resourceful? Can they think outside of the box if something were to happen? So much is going on. There's so many hands involved. You need those go-to people that are just like, okay, we're going to calm it down. We're going to fix it, and we're going to walk away. You know, that's great. That's beautiful. That's what you want in your wedding.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
you.
This was so nice. I'm so glad that we got to talk further and learn more about your business. Where can our listeners find you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can find us all over social media. Jill's Next Door Dog Walking and Pet Services, LLC.
I follow you.
Yes, follow me. I'll follow you. And we're pretty active on social media. You can find us on our website, very user-friendly, at jillsnextdoor.com. Or you can give us a call at 561-544-7297 or 561-544-PAWS, PAWS.
Perfect. And where are you? You're based where?
Our territory is Boca Raton and Delray.
Okay.
Yep. So all of Boca, all of Delray, and actually Highland Beach as well.
Okay.
So we stick to accommodating families and clients in those areas. We like to stay close. So if something were to happen, another sitter can jump in. It's just easier to manage. There's so many pets in the area, and we haven't even I feel like we haven't even started yet. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much more to come, you know?
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
so-
amazing. How about weddings? Do you only do weddings in this area or?
No, we'll go further. That's a good
For weddings,
question.
yeah.
We'll go further. Basically anywhere in the state of Florida. Or
You
at
just
least
gotta put together a package,
Put together
depending.
the package and have that consultation and figure out if that's a fit and what we can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
Perfect.
open-minded to that for
That's
sure.
awesome.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
you guys,
you.
if you're listening, if you have pets in your Boca, Delray, or you want them in your wedding, call Jill.
Thank you so much.